when I was little, and I still remember it. And I think it's a really good story, so we're gonna listen to it again today. Now, this morning we've been reminded about how precious Rebecca is to her family. I'm going to tell you a story about a little boy who had something that he thought was very precious. So this is him here. I hope you can all see. His name was Jack. Do we have any Jacks here? No. Well, he was 7 years old. Is anyone 7? Yeah, we've got someone there who's 7. So Jack was 7 years old. And Jack, I'll tell you a secret about him, he loved building things. Whether it was things out of Lego or just making things out of cardboard boxes, he just loved making things. Well, in June, it was Jack's birthday. And up until his birthday, he was so excited about what he was going to get as a present. And as the day got closer, he was more and more excited. Well, on the day of his birthday, he ran downstairs and found a present. And it was pretty big, and he was really excited to open it. But before he ripped in, he shook it and listened and smelt it, and he just didn't know what it was. And as he opened it up, he was a bit baffled, because inside there was a few pieces of wood and a bit of material, and he didn't know what it was. And he had to ask his daddy what it was for, and he said, "Jack, this is so that you can build your very own boat. This is no ordinary boat. After you've built it, you'll be able to sail it on the water." So Jack, with a bit of help from his dad, built this boat. It took them a long time. And after he'd finished building it, it looked something a bit like this. Now his dad said, "Jack, this is your very own boat. You made it, and you need to put your name in it." So Jack engraved his name. Can you see? Just right at the bottom. It was only little, but it was to remind him and everyone else that that boat belonged to him. Now, Jack was so excited to go and float this boat that every day he said to his mum, "Please, can we go today to the pond and sail my boat?" And more often than not, on a Saturday morning, they would go to the pond and he would sail the boat just in the shallow bit of the water, and it sailed really well. And then he would pick it up and they'd go home. Well, one particular Saturday, it was a bit windy outside, but Jack was really wanting to go to the pond, and he persuaded his mum to let him go. So they sailed the boat. But then Jack got distracted, and he looked back again, and the boat was nowhere to be seen. And for a long time, for the whole morning in fact, they searched in the reeds and through the lily pads and things, and they just couldn't find his boat. In the end, they had to go home without the boat, and Jack was so sad. The next Saturday, instead of sailing the boat, his mum made him go shopping. And he hated shopping, and he had his head down, and he had his hands in his pockets, and he was kicking, and he was just so sad about losing his boat. But then they went past a shop window. And as Jack looked in, something caught his attention. Can you see what it might have been? Who can see? Yeah. Was it the boat, or was it just another boat? How can you tell? Can we look really carefully on that boat? It's got his name, Jack. He knew it was his boat because it had his name on it. So Jack was so excited. He went into the shop and he said to the shopkeeper, "That's my boat in the shop window. Please, can I have it?" Well, the shopkeeper said, "No. Well, you can have it if you pay for it." And Jack said, "But it was my boat and I made it with my own hands." And the shopkeeper said, "Look, rules are rules. It's £10 and if you have £10, you can have it. Well, Jack didn't have £10. In fact, he went home, he got his piggy bank, he counted all the coins once, then twice, then 3 times, and he looked in his pockets, and he had a few sweets, but not any more coins. And he counted them up, and he had 53p. He was a long way off being able to afford his boat back. Well, if Jack was good, he got £1 for his pocket money, and he usually spent it on sweets. But for the next 10 weeks, he saved his pocket money. He didn't have any sweets until eventually he had enough money to go into the shop and buy back his boat. Well, when he got it back, he was so happy. He said, now this boat is really mine. It's mine twice. First, it was mine because I made it. But secondly, it's mine because I bought it back. Now, that's the story that I heard when I was little. But it reminds me of something even greater than that story. And it's something that relates to all of our lives. So I'm just going to go back through it again and think about how it might relate to us. In the Bible, we're told that God made us. Just like Jack made his boat, God made each one of us. Even the little Rebecca, the smallest to the oldest. And the Bible also says that we're made in God's image. It's like he wrote his name on us to remind us that we really ought to belong to God. And just like Jack loved his boat, God loves us, even more so because he can have a friendship with us. But the Bible also tells us, can you think back to what happened here? He was sailing his boat, Jack was, but then it got lost. Now the Bible also says that we have got lost. We have run away, in fact, from our own choice. We've run away from God, and it's what the Bible calls sin. Now sin is spelt with 3 letters, S-I-N. And it can stand for, to help us remember what it is, it can stand for shove off, God. I'm in charge, no to your rules. And that's what the Bible calls sin, and that's really what has happened with all of us. I've done that. I've said, shove off, God, I don't want you in my life. And it's a bit like being in that little boat and sailing away. And our friendship with God's broken. And because of that, God is so upset. Now, can you remember this picture? Jack found his boat, but it was a bit by chance. He wasn't really looking for it. In fact, he was sulking. But it says in the Bible that God sent Jesus to search for us. He wanted us back so much that he came and sought us. And can you remember, who can put their hand up and tell me how much it cost Jack to get his boat back? £10. Now, do you know how much it cost God to have us back, to bring us back so that we could have a friendship with him again? Shall I tell you? It was more than £10. Does anyone want to? Yeah, go on. You can tell you have a good Sunday school teacher. Yeah, it cost Jesus his life, not just a few pounds. But that's the cost that he was willing to pay for us to be part of his family. There's a verse in the Bible which simply says, in him, that is Jesus, we have redemption through his blood. Now, redemption means buying back. And it means really that Jesus has bought us back by his death. But we have a choice to make whether we want to be part of God's family or not. And I hope that's a choice that we all make, even today, to be part of his family. All right, we're going to stand together and sing a song called There Is a Redeemer. And then after that, I'm going to hand over to Stephen.